Hi guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about creating a web application using Lambda. Now, this is going to give you another $20 to be used um, across your AWS infrastructure. So currently, I have $40. I've not stopped this instance because I need it for some purpose. So after the purpose is completed, I'll be stopping the server. So I'm not stopping the server at this moment. Now, as you can see over here, so I have the one thing which is create a web application using Lambda. So this is gonna be another $20 I can add into the balance. So here we will create Lambda to run code without provisioning or managing servers. Now Lambda, what Lambda is the real world of serverless. So when I talk about serverless, I talk about a concept where I, if I have to run any of the activities on a computer, I need to have a server to do that. So, for example, I need to create an EC2 instance and then have operating system installed and then have the dependent software installed. Like if I had to run a Python, so I need to have Python installed and then I run a command on Python, right? But serverless comes with this option where you don't need to have all those underlying infrastructure. All it will do is like it will have a prompt and you enter the prompt into the prompt command and you execute it, and then it uses the underlying infrastructure which is behind the serverless concept behind Lambda and gives me the output. So here I'm not really worried about whether there's a server or not. My answer to the execution on that specific program will be returned uh, by after processing by that program. So that's what Lambda is. So when you click on it, I'll just show you a quick example over here. So it's asking us to create a function. So that's where the exercise is. But before we go there, just go to Lambda over here, and then you have the function. So when you click on the function over here, right? So you can create a function. That's what we are going to do eventually. But then you see this, um, just write the code and run it. So this is basically, I can run Node.js, Java code, .NET package code, Ruby code, Python code, and a custom runtime. And when I run it, I don't need a server for doing this because everything will be done in the backend by the Lambda function. So as you can see, .NET application here, it says hello from Lambda. And when I run it, so you can see that. So this is a .NET code, okay? So if this needs to be executed, there should be .NET software installed. And this is Java code, okay? So if this needs to be run, if this needs to be executed without any kind of exception, I need to have Java installed, but none of it is installed on my system. And this is all working from Lambda. Okay, so this we are in this tool called Lambda, which is a serverless tool where you don't need a server to run code. Okay, because it has the infrastructure on the back end. All we have to say like what kind of a code I'm going to use, and then write the code, and then just execute the code, and then basically it runs using the background it has on the particular code. So this is Lambda. So now let's click on create function. Now you can write a Lambda function from the scratch, or you can use a blueprint. A blueprint is basically someone already designed some specific template, and then we're going to use that template to make our life easy. For example, here, as I told you, there are two things which is needed for Lambda to run. One, you have to tell what function you're going to run, what language the function is going to run, and the function itself, like what the code it's going to execute. I'm sorry. When you have these two things, it's going to be really easy for you to execute any of the Lambda functions. So here are some of the blueprints which is available right now. So we're going to use hello world function, hello world function blueprint, and this is designed for Node.js 22.x version of Node.js. You have other options over here as well, like if you want to use hello word function from Python as well. So you have the option for doing that. Now, function should have a name. So it's like basic function. And then here you can create a default role for execution, which is needed for uploading logs to CloudWatch. And then this is the example code over here. So here you use a blueprint. Here you select the blueprint. Getting started with Lambda HTTP. Okay, so getting started with the Lambda HTTP. That's the one which needs to be selected. And then function name as HTTP URL tutorial. I'm just going to give it as it is because it will look for it to get the thing done. So you're creating a public HTTP endpoint over here, so anyone can access it from the internet using the final URL, which is you have to read and acknowledge that over here. I acknowledge that this URL will be accessible by anyone, and it's part of an AWS will bill me for using if I exceed the free tier. So how the free tier works in Lambda function is like based on the calls. So if I'm gonna access this URL 100 times, it's gonna be fine. But if you're gonna go beyond that, right? So there is this number of times you access this URL, that many number of time the process has to happen. So every time a process happens, right, you will be charged. Okay, if you go beyond the free tier. So you have to be careful on how many times you access this URL. So click on create function. So this is going to create the function. So this function is going to be having a URL, and that URL, when you hit the URL, you're going to get that information from there. So now don't show this again, dismiss. Now you can see the HTTP URL is coming up. It's deploying. So you can click on deploy over here. Now this is going to deploy, and then you can click on test. No changes to deploy. So this is the index.html which was created. So here you have the text option. So here is the URL, functional URL. So when you click on it, whatever you put it part of this function will be able to see it. So for example, when you click that URL, you can see that hello from AWS Lambda. This is blueprint which was rendered. So now you can also modify things after you have created it. You have the functional URL over here which you can edit as well, and you have the general configuration over here which you can edit over here. So likewise you can edit all these things as well. So this is something about Lambda. So here you have the monitoring function also, which will monitor your URL and make sure that the URL is working fine. So this is basically how you work with it. So this is the same index.html over here. So you can actually change this and then deploy this. You can see deploying code. Now when you click on this, you can see the update here. So likewise, you can change the activity over here, and that should be the Lambda function test. So make sure that you delete the function after you have created it. You can just see the option delete function and type confirm, and then you should get your function deleted as well. So now you go back and it should be completed. So all activity is completed, as you can see. The only thing which is not completed is the EC2 instance, but if you delete it, that should have completed also. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you have a nice learning, and I hope you have $200 on your account right now, and I'll see you on the next video.